You're tuned in to the 3CIR podcast, where we take big ideas about learning, leadership, and life after the uniform and turn them into something you can use on your next shift or your next coffee run. I'm Joel Slate Cairns.
And I'm Ryan Jury Delaney, two ex-military knuckleheads who swapped rations and ration packs for laptops and learning platforms. Good to be here, mate.
Always. If you're new, here's the heartbeat of this show. 3CIR is built by vets, for vets, emergency services, and anyone wanting to level up. We run on 5 pillars that we actually try to live: courage, commitment, camaraderie, integrity, and respect. Not slogans, compass points. They drive everything we do, from recognition of prior learning to online qualifications that fit your life.
We've walked that zigzag track from barracks to boardroom and back again, so we know the stumbles and the shortcuts. And today, we're getting very practical. We're talking Certificate III, the foundation courses that can crank open the door from entry level to the next rung. If you're sitting there thinking, I've got skills, but I need that piece of paper, this one's for you.
Exactly. These Cert III programs are the bridge. They introduce and develop professional level skills, give you the basics that employers look for, and they set you up to climb. Certificate IV, diploma, whatever you've got your eyes on, and they're built to make you feel confident at work, not just sympathetic to buzzwords.
You said bridge, and I can hear a few listeners going, yeah, but is it worth it if I've already done the hard yards? The answer is yes, and we'll talk RPL in a minute. So because if you've done the work, you shouldn't have to do it twice. Hold that thought, because I've got a story that'll make your morning commute fly by.
Let's start by teeing up what Cert III actually brings to the table. Think job-specific skills, work ethic you can show, not just say solid business communication and practical problem solving. The stuff that gets you hired and keeps you promoted. It's the foundation layer, like learning to shoot straight before you join the sniper course.
And it comes in flavors: business, work health and safety, entrepreneurship, and new business. Each one's like a different first step depending on where you want to head. Same ladder, different first rung. You pick the direction.
That's the big picture. Now here's why that matters to our community: veterans, ambos, fireys, SS legends, and civilian champs. Transition and progression are stressful because you're translating your value into a new language. Cert III gives you the dictionary and the structure. You know how to lead a team under pressure, but can you articulate group cohesiveness or WHS legislation in a meeting? After this, yeah, you can.
And because it's 3CIR, it's online and self-paced. If your roster flips every week, no dramas. You study at your own tempo. You can be on night shift, day shift, dad shift, mum shift. This fits around life. It's not a monolithic log in at 6 p.m. or fail kind of deal, right?
Right, let's jump into Cert III in business first. BSB 30120 for the code lovers. This is ideal if you're aiming at roles like customer service advisor, clerical work, office clerk, or if you just want to get a foot in the business door and then sprint. It's about the pillars that make a workplace actually function: clients, workplace safety, strategic group development, communication. It's less PowerPoint warrior and more, I can make this office actually work.
I had a mate, Mick, ex-infantry, who did this. He'd run sections, kept morale up under the worst conditions, right? But when he got to a civilian interview, he'd clam up when they asked, talk to me about your experience developing a team. He'd say, we trained. That's it. After Cert III in business, he could break it down. Group cohesiveness, effective teamwork frameworks, problem-solving models, same guy, same grit, now with the language and a few tools. He landed a customer service team lead gig in 3 weeks. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Here's what I like about the business cert at 3CIR. It doesn't pretend safety doesn't exist in a business environment. You learn WHS legislation basics so you know your responsibilities. You also get structure on business communication. How to write an email that doesn't read like a radio check, how to influence without barking orders, how to negotiate without being a pushover. It's undervalued until you see the results.
And strategic group development. Fancy phrase, simple idea. Building a team that gels. It's not luck. There are steps. Create clarity, align goals, set norms, encourage ownership, review. Most of us did this intuitively in the service, toolbox meetings, after-action reviews, but having the framework lets you replicate it in any office. That's the magic trick.
Now, for anyone who's already been doing admin, accounts, or frontline service, RPL might cut your time dramatically. If you've been coordinating rosters, handling client queries, implementing safety steps, you might already tick half the boxes. 3CIR runs a free RPL assessment. It's a conversation to map your experience to the competencies. If there's a match, you get recognition, less study, quicker outcome.
Quick example, Sarah. Navy Logistics. She handled vendor contracts, parts movement, safety checks every day. She comes in thinking, I'll need a year to study. RPL maps half her responsibilities straight onto business unit competencies. She ends up doing a few targeted modules, mostly communication and problem-solving refreshers, then boom, Certificate III in business. She slides into an office coordinator role with WHS awareness as a bonus. There's your fast lane.
And if you're just starting out, new industry, first step, no worries. The business cert meets you at baseline. It builds job-specific skills from scratch. You don't need to be a spreadsheet wizard to begin. You'll build that confidence steadily.
While we're on baseline, let's open a loop for later, how these Cert IIIs stack into Cert IV and Diploma, because there's a smart way to plan that pathway without burning time or cash. We'll circle back to that. But first, let's talk work health and safety.
Cert III in Work Health and Safety, BSB 30719. This sector's growing, and for good reason. Every workplace has risk, and good WHS pros prevent emergencies before they get cinematic. This qualification introduces the legislation, the roles, the responsibilities. You learn how WHS frameworks actually work on site, in the office, or when you're working away from home.
If you've done any OHS, WHS, safety checks, toolbox talks, you already speak some of this language. This course makes it fluent. It's also great if you're brand new and want to start contributing to the safety culture at work. You'll learn how to spot hazards, report properly, participate in risk assessments, and communicate safety messages so people actually listen.
And it's a 6-month program if you do the full run. That's manageable. I like that number. It's enough time to absorb and practice, but not so long you forget why you started. If you're already working in safety, RPL could shorten that. Again, free assessment. If you've been doing safety inductions, writing incident reports, participating in audits, that counts.
Let me jump in with a story. Jono, ex-AMBO, brilliant under pressure. He moves into a warehouse supervisor role. First month, he's basically the unofficial safety guy because he can smell risk like a sniffer dog. He enrolls in Cert III WHS. Between his on-the-job experience and his time as a paramedic, the RPL process recognizes most of his emergency response know-how. He studies the legislation modules, learns how to record hazards with the right terminology, and 2 months later, he's the workplace's go-to for WHS. He didn't just learn to keep people safe, he learned how to document and communicate safety, which is the difference between good bloke and qualified professional.
That's the distinction. In WHS, documentation is credibility. If it's not written, it didn't happen. Cert III gets you comfortable with the forms, the language, hazard, risk, control hierarchy, consultation, review. Not thrilling on paper, but those words save lives. And they can save companies money and headaches, which makes you very employable.
Also, think about deployment-style work patterns. FIFO, remote, off-site gigs. The WHS cert covers how the legislation applies when people aren't all in the same place. That's become huge. We've got folks listening who only see their team on video calls. Safety still matters, even if the hazard is a dodgy home office chair and a tangle of cables. You can lead there too.
And here's a little pro tip. Doing Cert III WHS now positions you to move into Cert University WHS later, which starts pushing you toward coordinator or advisor roles. That's where the pay steps up. Start with the foundation, and you'll have the vocabulary and habits to make that leap.
Speaking of leaps, let's talk entrepreneurs. Cert III in entrepreneurship and new business, BSB 30220. If you've ever thought, I could run my own thing, this is the launchpad. It's built for starting a micro business in Australia. You learn how to write a business proposal that isn't just enthusiasm. You learn the financial basics, cash flow, budgets, pricing, and you get the nitty-gritty on tax, insurance, and risks.
So the stuff that kills small businesses, this course tackles it head on. You get the technical knowledge to stand up your idea properly, and it's practical. You'll walk away with a real plan you could show a bank, a partner, or even just yourself on a Sunday afternoon when you're wondering, is this worth it?
I love the independence this fosters. An electrician who's been on the tools for years wants to go out on his own. A medic wants to start a training company. A security pro wants to consult. This Cert III gives you the framework to go from "I think I can" to "here's my proposal, here's my cost structure, here's my risk plan." That's confidence.
And again, online. Study while you're still working your day job. Learn the legalities so you don't step on landmines. ABN, GST when applicable. Insurances like public liability, professional indemnity. The unsexy parts that make your business safe and credible.
We had a listener, Tash, who completed this and started a micro business doing WHS site inductions for small construction crews. She packaged it as a service, priced it well, and used her Cert III as proof she understands the frameworks. That led to bigger contracts and honestly more sleep at night because she wasn't winging the paperwork.
There's a pattern here. Cert III is about building confidence and competence fast. Whether it's business, WHS, or entrepreneurship, each course is designed to get you moving, not to park you in theory for 12 months. You'll build communication skills, sharpen your work ethic, and learn to solve problems methodically. That makes you valuable.
And if you're thinking, can I sample before I buy? I'd say jump onto our videos. There's a stack: leadership, HR, WHS, security, business, marketing, government, project management. Watch a few and you'll get a feel for how we teach, how we talk, and whether we're your people. Spoiler, we probably are.
I want to loop back to RPL for a second. Recognition of prior learning is the accelerator. If you've got real-world experience, military, emergency services, or civilian, you might already meet a bunch of the outcomes for these Cert III courses. The free RPL assessment is the no-string step where we map your experience to the competencies. If it fits, your study time comes down, sometimes way down.
Right, but don't hear RPL and think, oh, that's just a rubber stamp, it's genuine recognition. If you can demonstrate the skill with evidence, work samples, references, position descriptions, incident reports, it counts. If you can't, we'll fill the gap with targeted training. That way your qualification actually means something. Integrity is in the DNA here.
And for our defense and emergency services crew, we get your world. If you say you ran a section and held safety briefs, we know what that looks like, and we know how to translate it into the language employers recognize. That's the camaraderie piece. We meet you where you are and walk with you forward.
Let's get practical. Say you're on the fence between business and WHS. Ask yourself, do you gravitate to organizing people and processes, smoothing client conversations, making a team hum, or do you naturally scan for hazards and love tightening up safety systems? If it's the former, Cert III in business gets you into admin and service roles with upward mobility. If it's the latter, Cert III in WHS positions you as the person who keeps everyone safe and keeps the organization compliant. Both pathways can lead to leadership, just a different flavor.
And if you've got a business idea tapping you on the shoulder every morning, entrepreneurship might be the better fit. It's not a leap into the abyss, it's a structured step with legal and financial guardrails.
Let me add a civilian angle. Kelly, retail manager, mid-career pivot. She felt stuck. Did the business Cert III, learn to analyze workflows and improve customer experience properly. She takes those wins into her resume. 6 months later, she's in a corporate operations role. The qualification was the key, but the skills were the door. You catch that?
I do. And here's a technique anyone can use. While you study, start a small evidence log. Every time you apply a concept, like improving an email template, running a team huddle with a structure, identifying a hazard and proposing a control, write it down. That becomes your portfolio and talking points. At 3CR, we love seeing that because it's proof you're not just learning, you're doing.
That's a hack, folks. Also, carve out study rhythm. 20 minutes a day beats 2 hours once a fortnight. Brew a cuppa, put your phone face down, and knock out a module. You'll be shocked at how quickly the confidence grows. Momentum matters.
Now, about stacking. Cert III is your footing. Once you're comfortable, climb to Cert IV or even Diploma. In business, that might push you toward frontline management, leadership, HR. In WHS, toward safety coordinator or advisor. In entrepreneurship, into broader business management. The beauty is, the Cert III content primes you for the next level. You're not starting from zero.
And sometimes RPL carries forward too. If your work experience keeps evolving while you study, more responsibilities, new projects, you might get recognition at the next stage as well. That's the compounding effect. Time saved is money saved, which is sanity saved.
And let's not forget, you're not alone in this. 3CIR has tools and resources, course outlines, learner support, those videos we mentioned, to help you make decisions and stay on track. Our team genuinely cares if you finish. Commitment matters.
I want to address the confidence piece because it's one of the hidden benefits. I've watched people go from, I don't think I'm cut out for study, to I'm writing proposals and running safety huddles like a pro. Cert III is like a gym program for your brain. Lightweights at first, good form, gradually heavier. 3 months in, you look up and go, when did this get easy?
And if you've been away from formal study for years, it's okay. The language is approachable. We break down legislation into what it means at work. We teach communication by having you communicate. We build teamwork by having you structure teams. It's practical.
And real talk, there's a bit of fun in it. You'll find yourself relating modules to your day. You'll message your mate saying, hey, did you know the way we used to debrief after exercises was basically the perfect problem-solving cycle? They'll call you a nerd. You'll take it as a compliment.
Before we go to closing, let's do a quick rapid fire on each Cert 3 with the Who's It for lens.
Cert III in business, great for people wanting roles like customer service advisor, clerical, office clerk, admin coordinator. Good if you want a foundation that touches communication, teamwork, WHS basics, and problem solving. Good if you're moving from military or emergency services into office environments and need the language to match your leadership with the civilian context.
Cert 3 in WHS, ideal if you're curious about safety, like to prevent problems, or if you're already the informal safety person at work. Also good for hands-on workplaces, construction, warehousing, logistics, events, where safety is a daily deal. 6 months for the full program, RPL if you've been doing safety tasks already.
Cert III in entrepreneurship and new business, made for the I want to start my own thing crew. You'll learn business proposals, financial management, and all the legal and risk bits. Tax, insurance, compliance, practical, so you leave with a plan. Not just vibes.
And across all of these, 3CIR is your partner. We bring the defense-born respect and integrity to the process. We know the stakes, we keep the camaraderie high, and we help you move from where you are to where you want to be.
One more thing, don't sleep on the media. Jump on YouTube and watch the 3CIR videos. There's a spread: leadership, HR, WHS, security, business, marketing, government, project management. It's like a sampler platter. You'll hear the tone, you'll see the approach, and you'll probably have a few, I know that moments that calm the nerves.
Okay, open loop time. Next episode, we're diving deep into Defense RPL, how recognition of prior learning transforms military experience into qualifications. If you've ever asked, how does my service time count on paper? We've got answers.
We'll walk through from barracks to boardroom, real transitions, real strategies. Why RPL matters, because time and money aren't infinite. Save time and money, how mapping your experience shortens the pathway without watering down the results.
Enhance your career prospects, how a qualification amplifies your resume and opens doors. Gain confidence, because seeing your skills recognized isn't just practical, it's personal.
We'll also unpack how 3CIR stands out, our experience in defense transition, comprehensive defense courses, and genuine recognition with guided assistance. No cookie-cutter nonsense. You're a person, not a file.
And here's an analogy that illustrates the 3CIR advantage we'll unpack next time. It's like having your section commander, your platoon sergeant, and your training warrant sit with a university dean and translate your field log into a degree plan. Same story, new language, and now it counts.
That's good. I'm stealing that. For now, if today's chat lit a spark, jump onto 3CIR. Check out the Certificate III options in business, work health and safety, or entrepreneurship and new business. Do the free RPL assessment and see where you stand. Worst case, you get clarity. Best case, you're a few steps closer than you thought.
Keep moving forward, keep learning, and remember those 5 tenets: courage, commitment, camaraderie, integrity, respect. Bring them into your study and your work, and watch what happens.
We'll be back next episode to turn your service into certified qualifications. In the meantime, take a breath, pick your first step, and reach out if you want a hand.
This is Slate.
And jury.
See you in the next one.